They dropped Marcus Hale on Karith-9 with a clipboard, a translator collar, and a smile that promised a non-hostile survey mission. The Galactic Council had labeled the planet a Class 4 biosphere, dangerous, but perfectly balanced. No single apex predator. Life here was cautious, communal, and supposedly subtly self-regulating. Marcus's smile vanished in 12 minutes. The first thing that tried to kill him wasn't big. It was small, many-legged, and carried enough venom to stop his heart in under a minute. He crushed it under his boot, adrenaline surging through him. He jabbed himself with anti-venom, scanned the area, and did what humans have always done when things go wrong. He adapted. Within a day, the local scavengers learned to stay clear of the loud, sweating biped, who set fires on purpose. Within 3 days, the grazers avoided his camps, sensing something deeply wrong about the way he watched them. By the end of the week, the native hunter pack 6-limbed ambush predators with bone-plated skulls had lost 2 members to traps made of wire, stones, and sheer human patience. The Karethi observed from the tree line. They were tall, furred, with gentle eyes. Their civilization had grown without war, without conquest. On their world, evolution rewarded caution, not dominance. Their strongest beasts only hunted when hungry. Their deadliest venom existed purely as a deterrent. Balance had always been the law. Then the human arrived. Marcus didn't have claws, venom, or armor. What he had was pattern recognition, endurance, and something the Council's reports never quite managed to quantify: creative violence. He learned which creatures charged and which fainted. He memorized their calls, their tracks, their feeding times. He turned the very environment into a weapon, creating mud pits near watering holes, sharpening stakes and disguising them as fallen branches, using smoke to flush prey into the open. The first time he killed a great spinebacker creature no Karethi had ever dared, challenged the entire forest, went silent. The spineback was massive, its ridged plates deflecting claws and fangs like they were nothing. It had no natural enemies. Marcus watched it for 2 days, then lured it into a ravine where its massive size became a weakness, unable to turn quickly. He triggered a rockfall, breaking its leg, and then he simply stayed out of reach and waited. 12 hours later, the apex of Karith-9 lay dead from exhaustion and blood loss. Marcus used every single part of it. That was when the Karethi elders finally made contact. They approached with open hands and trembling voices, expecting to find a monster. Instead, they found a tired human, cooking meat over a fire, cataloging samples, and humming an old Terran tune. When they carefully asked him what he was, Marcus just shrugged. Hungry, he said, cold sometimes, mostly just trying to survive. The elders watched him in the following days. They saw how predators now fled at the sound of his footsteps. They saw how scavengers waited for his leftovers rather than risking his attention. Even the mighty spinebacks were altering their migration routes to avoid the smell of smoke and steel. Something fundamental had changed. Without intending to, Marcus had become the balancing force. The planet never evolved on its own. Did predators overhunt? He culled their numbers. Did grazers overbreed? He hunted them selectively. Dangerous species that had crept too close to Karethi settlements simply vanished, not exterminated, but managed. The entire ecosystem was now bending around him. Galactic observers back at the Council panicked when the new data came in. Karith-9 now registered a dominant predator class, Homo sapiens, singular, unarmored, technologically minimal. Yet nothing on the planet could successfully challenge him. A Council ship arrived to extract Marcus immediately. They found him alive, covered in scars, and very much in control. As he boarded the ship, the Karethi elders bowed not in fear, but in respect. Their world was safer now. Not because the human was kind, but because he was capable, and because he chose restraint. On the return flight, a Council xenologist finally asked the question that had been echoing through all the frantic reports. How did your species evolve into something so dominant? Marcus looked out the viewport at the shrinking green world below and smiled faintly. We didn't, he said. We just kept ending up in places that tried to kill us, and we learned faster than they could. Karith-9 would eventually rebalance itself. The forest would reclaim the ravines. The spinebacks would return to their old paths, but the memory would remain. Deep in the instincts of every creature on that world, a new rule had been written. Beware the one with no claws, no fangs, and no venom. Beware the thinking predator who refuses to lose. And that was more than enough. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. See you in the next one.